Now for updates on global and Africa business activities, Rotus Odiri joins us. Good morning, Rotus. How are you?
Good morning. I am fine. Good morning, Doctor. Good morning, Rufai. So real quick, press for time. We start off with Mr. President Biden in the State of the Union address. He gave little to no attention to foreign policy. He basically talked about economic issues, economy. He stressed the fact that unemployment is low. He talked about the fact that inflation is decelerating. He talked about, he's really bigging up his record job numbers from Friday, 517,000 jobs created. But data is showing that Americans don't seem to really be feeling it that much. So he didn't really talk much about the balloon from China that was shot down. He really didn't talk about much about the Russia invasion of Ukraine. Scant attention. It was all about the economy. Also talking about taxing billionaires and wanting to raise revenue, saying that oil companies are making more money. People need to pay their fair share. Here's the tweets. This tweet, I'm wondering when I will see these tweets. We think we should ask the presidential candidates of Nigeria when we see. Look at this. Wages are up. Inflation is down. More Americans have health insurance than ever before. Workers keep our nation running. It's about time that our economy works for them. In one tweet, he summarizes salary increases, cost of living coming down, and people having health insurance. And I'm like, when will I see this, 2026, 2027, 2030 in Nigeria? The Bank of England, nothing much to say here. They have launched their consultation paper for their digital pound. Bank of England Governor Andrew Bailey was stressing privacy concerns with the digital currency. So they are just this is the groundwork now, the foundation. They're saying maybe the latter half of this decade, they will launch a digital pound. Chancellor of the Exchequer, Jeremy Hunt, sounding pretty bullish about what the digital pound will mean for, moving money onto the digital scape, still saying that cash is king, cash is still very much here to stay, but they've got to make that move. The EU is doing it. The Chinese have already launched theirs. Nigeria, first African nation to launch their own digital currency. But of course, it's all about the network and internet connectivity. Yeah. Then that's global. We come to Africa. I think Chineza Samuel, our correspondent, has a package on the INEC chair, Mr. Mahmoud Yakubu, visiting Central Bank Governor Gordon Emefiele to talk about the election and how the CBN can help to ensure a smooth election. I think we should have that.
Nigeria, Africa's largest economy, cash is scarce. Automated teller machines and over-the-counter cash withdrawals are not fully functioning to capacity. Bank apps and USSD codes are hanging. Individuals and businesses are badly affected. This is adding tension and anxiety as the country counts down to the general elections less than 3 weeks. On February 25th, 18 candidates will be contesting to replace President Muhammadu Buhari as Nigeria's next president. And on the 11th of March, governorship positions in 28 out of the 36 states will be up for grabs. There are now fears that this lack of cash might affect the smooth electioneering process, including hampering INEC logistics. This is a major reason for this visit by the INEC chairman to the Central Bank of Nigeria to explore better ways of partnership to resolve the issues. He explains how the scarcity of Naira notes pose a threat to the smooth running of election logistics, especially in areas of transportation.
Service providers are generally paid by means of electronic transfer to their accounts. However, there are equally critical areas such as transportation and human support services that have to be immediately remunerated, either partially or in full, before services are rendered. In addition, emergency situations may arise requiring immediate cash payments. Some of the critical service providers are unbanked.
On his part, the CBN governor shows that the Apex Bank remains committed to its support for the smooth conduct of elections in Nigeria. He promises to make cash available for the electoral body.
Do not allow itself either to be used or itself, central bank, to be seen as an agent that frustrated a positive outcome of that election. So I sit here to give you that commitment that whatever you need, like you call, you have been responsible in the past anyway. It's not just about cash. You've done electronic payments before. And if in this case, after making your electronic payment, you require some money to pay transporters, in this case cash, the assurance I give to you is that we will make it available.
Also concerned about insecurity, the INEC chairman leads a delegation to the Office of the National Security Advisor. His mission is clear: security for all on election day.
We look forward to the comprehensive plan for the deployment of security personnel, including their various duty posts and contact details. This arrangement has been done in the past and has greatly facilitated rapid response to situations that may arise in the field, either on election day or during the collation of results.
For the National Security Advisor and heads of security agencies here, there is no cause for alarm.
The 2023 elections will go on in a climate devoid, bereft of rancor. The security agencies have done a lot in the last couple of months to put things in place.
I want to assure members of the public that the police, in collaboration with the defense and other security sector personnel, are fully prepared to conduct the 2023 general election in a free, fair, and credible manner.
I'd like to indeed pledge the commitment of members of the armed forces to the entire process.
With 17 days until the polls, INEC says it will leave no stone unturned in ensuring credible and acceptable polls. Chinaza Samuel, Arise News.
All right, finally, IPMAN, Independent Petroleum Marketers of Nigeria, the Maiduguri branch, they kind of confused people a little yesterday, putting out 2 letters in the space of about 24 hours. Here's the first letter that they wrote, which of course speaks to the issues that marketers are facing. Following the critical situation as it affects our sourcing and selling of products at a loss, and the action of the authorities to impose the selling of products at a loss price on our side, you are all hereby directed to suspend selling at all filling stations and also suspend payment of ordering products from source until further notice. That was February, that was yesterday. Then about 24 hours later, later on, they now put this out and reversed it, saying, having met with the concerned authorities, all filling stations should open with immediate effect to continue selling while the association continues with further consultation and will accordingly keep you informed. So price pressure still very much an issue for marketers on the downstream sector.
Price pressure, we all know what's going on with IPMAN, but I think that was not really nice to heighten up the tension because it took a counter message, to be able to calm down that. A lot of Nigerians went with that and there was panic in the system yesterday. It was not really nice, and I don't think people should be doing that, especially when they didn't have the all check from the National Association itself, the National IPMAN itself. They should be very careful at a time like this. Also, I want to also put in the conversation, Mele Kyari was interviewed yesterday on television. Yeah. I watched the interview for about 30 minutes.
What did he say?
And what he kept on saying was the fact that, yes, that they are pumping more, that now they're pumping about 74 million liters as against the number 64, about 70 million liters as against the number 60 threshold for a day, that they're also expanding the number of areas and collection points. He also talked about the fact that since the JSA fire incident happened, that then with a lot of pipelines that went through that trunk have been, incapacitated. They're not in use any longer. That pipeline will have aided things and all of that. All I just want to tell him is all of that is rhetoric. Fix the problem once and for all.
You just took the words out of my mouth.
Please just stop all of that shenanigan. INEC reassuring people, Joe Biden's State of the Union address, there's still a lot of wahala going on the local scene in America. You know why? Because even Jay Carney says he's still going to increase interest rates, and that is also coming. But also, yes, there are higher wages, but the labor market still needs a lot of injection and input. The job numbers need to go up.
Well, Mele Kyari in his address also apologized on behalf of the entire value chain for the sufferings of Nigerians and took responsibility. And then he said something that I'm not sure the merit of that, following the fact that we've heard this before, that next week we should see a drastic improvement and
next
that
week,
next week.
Okay,
so,
is that true?
Next week.
Well, that's precisely what he said. He said next week, that they are addressing the supply concerns and that the burden should continue to ease off. And he apologized. And he, identified with the Nigerian people the pain that they're going through. I think, at the level of civility, that's quite fine. Second thing is that, you talked about Joe Biden.
Yes.
I thought Joe Biden, when he spoke before Congress, third time, the oldest American president ever to deliver a State of the Union address, he showed a lot of vigor. And his presentation sounded like this is a pre-second term, announcement effort. And he was prepared. You could see that he was very vigorous, and he was prepared for the heckling Republicans who were heckling on the issues of, Medicare, and healthcare issues, social security, and all of that. But I think on the whole, it was a good outing for him. And you said foreign policy, that he didn't address forein policy. Well, of course it is, because he talked about China. There are paragraphs in that speech about China. And the strongest point he made about China is that if China, poses a threat to our sovereignty, we will act. And all of this is against the background of the spy balloon, that was shot down, along the coast of the Carolinas. So that there was foreign policy in it. But the other part of it was the response from Sarah Sanders, former White House press secretary, now a governor. But of course, whatever she said was nothing compared to what the president said. But she made a strong point about generational change. And so a 40-year-old speaking for the Republicans, plus, old man Biden, who probably wants to be in office till he reaches the age of 86. That's what he will be by the time he finishes his second term in office. Now, quickly, about other issues in Nigeria. Well, I think it's important that we're having this conversation. The CBN governor says, look, I helped you to provide forex for beavers. I kept my word. I've shown you consistently, INEC, that I'm committed to this, because we see this as a national priority. Strong, good words. The National Security Advisor says we have this inter-agency consultative committee on election security, and we are working. We need to see the evidence of all of this. And the question that I raised earlier is that, are they ready from one side to the other? Because the concern being shown by the INEC chairman running from CBN to National Security Advisor may well be an indication that there is cause for concern. Thank you very much, Rotus.